Okay, picture this. Your partner rushing around the house because they're late for work. People panicking about a bus that's not showing up. I'm sure you've been in situations like that before. It can be really hard to not get stressed when you're around people who are stressed out. My next guest has been researching how stress is contagious. Jaideep Bains is director of the Krembil Research Institute at UHN and a professor at the University of Calgary. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, contagious stress, in what sense?
You think about stress a lot in our lives. It's the thing that everybody talks about. Everyone is stressed, it seems. But over the last few years, what we started to understand is that stress is not just about the individual, that we can transmit information about our stress to others, and we have a capacity to detect stress in others. So I should qualify that a little bit by saying it's not just that stress is transmitted and we detect everyone's stress. Proximity is really important, being close to people, both physically and also emotionally. So those who are, in the example you used, part of your family, you're probably going to be more tuned to their stress.
There are some family members, though, where you expect stress to be transferred, right? Like those who you take care of. If you're stressed, those who you take care of will automatically be stressed. I've learned that very early on as a parent, right?
Yes.
But what about in those other cases where it is like your partner in your family or that sort of thing? How does that type of transfer of stress happen?
Yeah, so, we as human beings have a number of ways that we can detect stress. We become very familiar with people's postures and their mannerisms, the way that they sigh and breathe, slam the doors. All of these things tell us they're stressed. But it turns out biology tells us there are other ways that we transmit, not just cues about stress. So those things are cues, but actual signals about stress, biological signals. And so there's this really interesting and emerging field that indicates that we emit signals from our sweat glands that can be detected by others. And then when we're stressed, they seem to mirror our own stress response.
That is interesting because, then that means I may not even know that I'm reacting to your stress.
That is absolutely correct. And in fact, the way the brain is wired, you will not know that you're reacting to my stress. So the way that we detect these signals is through our nose largely, and a lot of the cells in your nose that detect those signals then relay and send information to parts of your brain that are below the level of your cortex. So you're not consciously aware that you're detecting this stress, but your physiology, your heart rate, your blood pressure, your stress hormones are changing.
Okay, there are many different stressful things, many different types of stress. Is it any particular category of stress that falls in here?
I would say largely people have looked at emotional stressors or fear-inducing things. Physical stressors, for example, when you're exercising, it can be quite a stress on your body. That doesn't seem to release the same type of chemicals.
I then wonder if there's a way to prevent that transfer. Some people do work that keeps them around stressed out people almost all of the time. What should you consider if that's something that you're part of?
So, there are a number of researchers who have been looking at coming up with other strategies. For example, there are also molecules that appear to cause a de-arousal or decrease our stress response. So people have been thinking about this. The other thing that really helps stress in a kind of a counterintuitive way is actually social interaction. So the social interaction transmits the stress, but evolutionarily, the reason for this is that you're trying to draw others to you so that your own stress can be buffered. And so the thing that transmits is also the thing that helps us.
So this is our body actually trying to help us.
That's exactly correct. Yes, it's providing information to others saying, I'm under duress, come and congregate and help.
Okay. This is all fascinating to me. I wonder how people can avoid soaking up stress, though, especially when in many cases you won't even know that you're doing it.
Yeah, you won't even know. And some people are really remarkable at it, and I put that in kind of quotes. Some people are, we see these in our lives. People are amazingly empathetic, and they can take on other people's emotional states, and others are just completely oblivious to it. And I think there's a really interesting kind of physiology and brain circuitry that probably underlies that.
That is very interesting. I still am trying to figure out how I can avoid soaking up other people's stress while going through this and just get straight to the helping them in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, exactly.
Really great to speak with you about this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Jaideep Bains is director of the Krembil Research Institute at UHN. He will be giving a public talk entitled, Is My Stress Your Stress? You can watch it at noon today for free. We'll put up the link on Twitter at Metro Morning. You're listening to Metro Morning on CBC. CBC Radio 1.